Welcome to Cast of Creators. We're your hosts. I'm Nelson Thal.
And I'm Casie Stewart. We've spent our careers in media and publishing, and now we're setting the stage for creative people who inspire us to share their stories.
Today's guest, Lisa Sonshine, is a singer, songwriter, and one half of the Juno-nominated children's entertainment group, Sonshine and Broccoli.
Lisa shared the backstory on how their musical duo came to be. We chatted about mom life, touring, their upcoming album, and she even sang for us briefly. Here we go.
Lisa, welcome to Cast of Creators.
Thank you guys for having me. We're excited.
Talia's been raving about you at home for months. And she's been saying, Nell, you've got to have on Lisa. I don't know her, but she has the best energy and she makes me so excited. And having Ariel has really opened our eyes to like children's music, of course. And it's been fantastic listening to you. And we were so interested in how you got your start. And, and where one of the questions I was really figuring out right at the beginning was like, you started with music or you started with children's music?
Oh, good question. Well, first of all, it's so funny because Tal and I were pregnant at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we became like insta besties because we were basically going through it at the same time, but I had already had my first. So this is our second. So it's just, I literally just said, I felt like it was happening to me. Like when you guys were like in labor, anyways. So it's very cool. And I'm so honored to be here and be live seeing these two gorgeous faces. So where did it start? Mm-hmm. Sonshine and Broccoli. Brock and I met at Sheridan College's musical theater program almost 25 years ago. 25 years ago.
Wow.
I feel like I'm 100.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
When you were 10.
You literally, right? Thank you. And then when we graduated, I really thought I was going to Broadway. Like it was in my head, like I'm going to Broadway, I'm moving to New York. That's my dream. That's what I want to do. And Brock really wanted to be a rock star.
Okay.
I know, right? You're like, and at that time, my aunt had kids and she was taking them to like mom and taught music, which was like really popular.
Yeah,
and
totally.
So she's like, why don't you do this? And I was like, well, I play a little bit of guitar. So, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I asked my friends, I was like, what should I call this? And they're like, Sonshine Soul Train. So my last name is Sonshine.
Okay.
So, and they were coming up with like these really funny names.
Great.
And then someone said Singing with Sunshine. I was like,
what a great last name.
Yeah, it is a great last name.
It kind of worked really well, I have to say.
Yeah.
And so I got my first gig. I got my first class. And I freaked out because I really play 3 chords on guitar. Like I really, and
I think you play a lot of songs with
you
three.
you can, but you have to be confident. And I was like, can I do this? And I called Brock, who was my best friend. I'm like, B, can you help me? So Broccoli was his nickname at school.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody called him Broccoli. So he's like, of course I can help you. So he came over, we wrote a welcome song, we wrote a goodbye song, and we didn't know what we were doing. And that was it. I was like, how hard can this really be? So we went to our first class. And they loved it. They're like, who are you
so
guys?
nice.
We feel like we're at a Broadway show.
What a great start.
And truly, that's how it started. It was one group who I got to tell you, I'm still very close to the moms in that class. Some of them are my best friends. And from there, it was just really took off in the community. And that's the creation of Sonshine and Broccoli.
Oh, fantastic. So I guess that when you're writing these songs, I mean, how many songs have you written now for Sonshine and Broccoli?
Working on our 6th album.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
wild.
Yeah.
100 songs, probably more.
More, yeah.
So where do these ideas come from? I mean, it's not your typical, I was in a band and I don't know if you create music the way we were creating music in our teens, which involved hanging out and other
exactly.
activities. So, your kids must be offer you a tremendous amount of inspiration for these. They're like your test subjects.
So I didn't have kids.
Oh,
right.
Then
So I started when I was 19 years old.
Yeah, you
right?
started at 19.
So I'll tell you.
Only recently are they test subjects.
Yeah. And they don't even know, like my oldest now knows I'm Sonshine, but like when he was listening, He had no idea that was me.
Oh,
wow,
that's
that's
cool.
so-
And my friends were like, you play Sonshine and Broccoli to your kids? I'm like, that's all he wants to listen to. Like for actual real, that's all that would calm him down.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he wants it. But
How old's your oldest?
2.5.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So your
yeah.
kids are both young.
They're young. They're
Okay.
little babes. But my oldest now, because we go into his school sometimes to do shows, he's like, Sonshine and Broccoli.
Oh my God.
And it's very cute. So what's really cool is that when we started and we came out with this first album, the moms were like, we need to hear you guys. Like we felt like we were at like Rent. Like that's what they would say to us. So we're like, okay, let's write an album. We knew nothing about writing kids music. We knew nothing about really songwriting, to be quite honest with you. And so at that time, we were 19. We both didn't have cars. Actually, Brock drove. That's not true. I didn't have a car yet. And we were writing in like malls, subway stations, food courts, Starbucks. Like you would see us. And we were just like, oh. And where did our inspiration come from? Like, it's so interesting because that first album, it's called the Sonshine and Broccoli Jam. People like, when I run into parents 20 years ago who are like, my kids are in university, P.S. that was the best album ever because that really was such an incredible album. And I think it was just like putting ourselves in the minds of children. It really is like taking yourself back as a little kid.
Yeah.
And that first album was like, what do you want to be when you're older? And we're like, a sour key, a fire truck, it was like things like that.
Oh,
So
that's so cute.
have we evolved tremendously? Our fourth album got a Juno nomination,
Yes.
which was crazy.
Yeah,
cool.
that's great.
And an incredible experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, I watched that
You
on
went to the
YouTube
awards.
today.
I mean, you went to the
We
awards
went to
ceremony.
the awards. We
And,
performed at the
you
Junos.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It was pretty surreal. Sarah McLachlan was the host that year. We walked the red carpet together, and I was like
Incredible.
it was wild. It was a dream.
Where was it that
It
year?
was in London.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's so funny. You said what do you want to be when you grow up? My partner's daughter, when she was a little kid, she did something at school like that. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she said a dolphin. So we always like,
Did you write a song?
no, she didn't. But I mean, it could be a
Could
great
be.
song because she loved dolphins and she was very young, but
Well, there's
she wanted to be a dolphin.
there isn't you'd think there'd be a lot more children's content than there actually is, because we were grasping at straws early on for Ariel to find something for newborns. Like it was shocking actually, because everybody's going through this. Well, parents are going through this one way or another. And we were on YouTube, and then we sort of got baby TV, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's not great. And but we started listening to you
I think what's
and
really
Raffi.
And
Guys,
Raffi is
you and
amazing.
Raffi.
He was also nominated that same year we were. I think what's really cool is that the music we grew up with, like Sharon Lawson Brand, Raffi, Fred Penner, these are our like role models in this industry. When we came into this industry, there was a handful of people who did this. And then it's grown tremendously. And it is so cool to see the different genres, reggae, rock, punk, for kids.
Yeah.
And what I think is so cool is that as we've evolved over the years, and we have, a whole team working with us, management, producer, publicist, as we've grown with our fans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it started with like, here's an album, and the parents really like listening to it. What I think is really cool, what you just said, is that now we're at an age where people want, like, you're going to be listening to this music a lot.
Right.
She's going to be like, play it over and over. And you're like, oh my God, like I can't listen anymore. So we as artists have to come up with like tunes that you guys think are really cool
Mhm.
and that we want to listen to, because
Yeah.
you will listen to them 9,000 times.
Yes, the
Over
same
and
song.
over and
It's
over
true.
and
Yeah.
over. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's in your head. I mean, nonstop, and you can't get it out of your head.
exactly.
And I watched Ariel's grandparents, but I watched my parents and Talia's parents rediscover some of the songs. And the start of all the rediscovery was like, I'm going to be singing that to myself for weeks and weeks if you let it in. But of course, inevitably, you do let it in. And yeah, it's fantastic.
It's awesome. And just like, it's so cool for the older generation too, because those are the songs like Sharon Lewis and Bram.
Mhm.
That was my first concert I ever went to. Sharon Lewis and Bram. Yeah, Kitchener.
Where? Kitchener.
In Kitchener. I grew up in Cambridge. And yeah, like we had tapes and records and there was always music playing in my house. And yeah, Sharon Lewis and Bram, legends.
Were your parents musicians or into
Not
music
at all. Not at all. I was like really musical at a really, really young age. And I think they picked up on that. Well, I know they picked up on it. And so I was like always like performing and dancing, and like people would come over and I'd be, they're like, go. And, you know, I'd do the show. And yeah, exactly. Right. Like we had like Grease down pat.
Yeah.
We had all the moves. And so I think that they picked up on it at a really young age. And then it was very funny because my brother and sister had their bar and bat mitzvah. And Jackie Richardson, who is like the Jackie Richardson, performed at a lot of our family events.
Wow.
And Jackie, you know, was like, now she's like legend, jazz legend of Canada. And she is something so special. But she actually said to me, I performed with her at my bat mitzvah. And she said to my parents, like, I want her to study with my teacher. And I was like 12 or 13. And I was like, okay. So my parents would take me down to Kensington every weekend. And I would have a vocal lesson with Theodore Gentry. He's no longer with us anymore, but I studied with him until I went to Sheridan.
Wow.
And he's like, you're going to be an opera singer. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Were you doing that with him?
He wanted me to do a lot of classical, but I'm like a soul sister.
Mhm.
So like, I was like, no, Theo, I want to soul it out.
Yeah.
So we would like trade off, but he was instrumental in my training.
What was some of your favorite music at that point in your life?
I loved Bette Midler.
Totally.
Like, don't even go there. The Rose, Wind Beneath My Wings. Like,
yes.
yeah.
And one of my favorite Bette Midler moments is in Beaches.
I knew you were
when,
gonna say
you know,
that. I knew you were going
my
to say
face
that.
is my fortune. You know? And she says, that's why I'm totally broke.
Yeah.
My ship ain't coming. Yeah, like, oh my God, I'm not a singer, but God, I love her.
Yeah. She's something. She is something. I saw her on Broadway, actually. I was like,
Oh, jealous.
Whitney. Whitney was a huge one. And musicals. Like every musical I just knew from start to finish, and like would just be wailing in my room, like the entire CD, and my family would be like, shut up already. Exactly. So yeah.
So do you do the camp circuit too?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
We do. We really do.
That's fun.
It's so fun. I just did a show yesterday. Brock was actually out of town. And so it's very rare that we don't do shows together. So we had a backup and I got really nervous.
Yeah,
I've been doing this for 21 years.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why are you nervous? But I got really nervous, and you had to like be quick on your feet. And it went really, really well. I had to like switch gears fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like we are most grateful. Like this is our job.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and consistently for 21 years, it's just been this really beautiful organic ride.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What more could you ask for?
I know.
Really? That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you tour worldwide? Or you
We tour
North
Canada
America
for
wide?
sure.
Oh,
We've done a
Canada.
bunch of shows in the States also.
Cool.
But right, yeah. And just, the pandemic was a really interesting one for us. It actually was really good for us. So it was March break, and we had a full tour booked a year in advance. Show.
How many shows? In a
We
tour?
had probably about 10.
Okay.
And one by one, they were canceling.
Yeah, you'd see them sort of fall off.
Yeah.
Dominoes.
I didn't even think this thing was going to be real.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think a lot of people felt that
Yeah.
way.
I was like, oh, they haven't canceled yet.
Oh, yeah. I was at a hockey game and people were like, making jokes of like a sniffle or a cough or
Yeah.
who the heck would
Yeah,
imagine
we went
it
up
would-
to the cottage and we were like, oh, well, I guess we'll open the cottage a little early. And then we're up there and then we're like, ooh, I guess we're going to be here. We stayed the whole year.
We did too. We
Nelson
have
was
a
the
cottage.
there,
Yeah,
too.
we spent 6 months at the cottage.
Yeah.
It was actually the best.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
I feel like the same. I mean, that was really, it make the best of the situation.
But we jumped online right away.
yeah, that's great.
And I think that it got a lot of attention, especially from media. because at 11 a.m. every single day, Sonshine and Broccoli was live on Instagram. So it was like right before like lunchtime, right before like a kid would go nap. And that was like where they would meet us. And for like a few months, we did that. And it was really cool because then like Indigo started writing me and be like, can you come on our channel? And Mastermind started writing me and Blue Mountain started writing me. And all these like amazing brands started writing us and being like, oh my God, would you come and perform on ours? And we're like, awesome. It just opened up a completely different world that I don't know, like, I mean, they asked me to come perform Mastermind in the store for sure. I would in a heartbeat, but it was really cool to like get in this way, you know, and
yeah, like everyone had to change the way that their work was done or that they were entertaining their audiences.
Yeah.
And you used your platform in a new way and it opened up new eyeballs to your content.
yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And do you also do the morning show circuit?
The morning
shows?
So when we have something coming up, which we will be releasing our album, our 6th album will come out next few weeks.
Great.
So we will be doing the circuit.
Yeah, fantastic.
And
You'd be great on morning shows.
Yeah, we've done a bunch, and like back to school, they often have us to sing, you know, an inspirational song for the kids, and hopefully we're working on that. This album, the 6th one, has been such a trip because we've collaborated with incredible artists. We just collaborated with the guy who won the best reggae artist of the year. He's 13.
My God.
Wow. And we just wrote this song with another Juno award-winning guy, the two of them and us, called Born to Be Brave.
Oh, beautiful title.
And it's a reggae, awesome, really cool song. So hopefully we'll be performing that in the next, like before the kids go back to school on a morning show.
Did you sing all through your pregnancy?
I did.
2 or 3?
Oh my gosh. My first, I did our huge CD release show a week before. My first was early and
A week before you had your first.
but he was a few weeks early. So that was going to be like my last show.
Yeah.
And then he came a week later,
Oh, wow.
which was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was in the studio the whole way with being pregnant. So that was really cool. And actually, oddly enough, the same with I wrote my album while I was pregnant and then started recording it when Baron was just born.
Wow.
Second, yeah.
That's great.
And full drummer, like you got a full band behind you?
Band. We got a full band. Incredible producer. Like, I go in, he just works his magic. Like he knows what's up. We've had incredible musicians come in, but it's all been really organic. Like it's just been like, hey, do you want to play like keys or do you want to, bring your sax in and lay down a few tracks? Yeah. Like it's been really organic. And that's what I have to say about our whole career. It's just been like a very beautiful, organic ride.
So when you ramp up and you're doing an album and you're writing songs for an album, it's mainly you and Broccoli.
Yeah.
And then you will go to a rehearsal space and start getting the band going, or you go right into the studio.
We go right into the studio. So Brock and I write in like funny ways. Like sometimes, I will get inspiration from everything. So if I'm walking down the street and I have a notepad in my phone and it's like Sonshine and Broccoli lyrics, and then something will just come and I'll type it quickly. And then I'll tell Brock like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. I'll voice note it to him. And he's like, okay, like we've been doing this for so long that we just know what each other is thinking. So it's kind of easy. And then he'll write something and be like, what do you think of this? I'm like, super cool. Let's add music. Let's add lyrics. And so it happens really fast. Like we can pop out songs pretty fast.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Faster than babies.
But I'm cheering.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've got that sound here. I'd have to label it.
Yeah. So funny.
You grew up in Toronto,
I did.
and we have a high school overlap,
Crazy.
but I wouldn't know. I was probably in grade 9 when you were heading out.
Yes. Which is so weird because when I would see your pictures on Talia's Instagram, I was like, I know him. But how do I know him? And then I was like, in my head, and then finally I was like, did you go to Metro? You were like, yes, I did.
We went to one of the most chill high schools you could ever imagine.
Really?
Yeah.
What made it so chill?
It was small. It was carpeted. And
Carpeted?
Yeah, it was a lot of it was carpeted.
Yeah.
Especially the entrance and all that. And the principal really didn't take it very seriously.
He was
Maybe in a
everybody's
way.
best friend.
He was
Oh,
sort of like a
interesting.
best friend principal. And I used to go into his office and he'd have these leather couches. And he was interested in my dad's radio show at the time.
Yeah.
And he used to, I used to waste the class just sitting and talking with him in his office, which was
Oh my
really a great
gosh.
vibe. But you know what? It was the type of school that they posted your marks in the hall. Our marks were all posted
Yeah.
on a board in the hall for everybody to see. That puts a little bit of pressure on you.
Yeah,
that you don't
totally.
want to, be showing up with 60s.
It's
on
very
that
funny
wall.
because that school I was very
You must have
hesitant to
been,
go to. I was like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Was it a private school?
It was a private
Okay.
school. And everyone's like, you pay for your marks. That's how they
That's characterized it. They labeled it like that. You pay for
Which
your
was
marks.
so not true
It wasn't true.
at all.
I went there. I thought, this is great. I pay for my marks. And I got there and I
You're like,
realized
what's that 60?
that's not true.
You had to do
I'm
actual
paying
work?
for them.
I think it was a really beautiful community.
Yeah.
And everyone said to me before I came, like, you're going to love it. It's like a family. I'm like, school is not like a family. But Wayne, our principal, same thing.
Were you
He
on
would-
first name basis with the principal?
Yes.
Yeah, we called
yes.
all the teachers by their first name.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the teachers were working for you. It was really like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like if an entire class didn't like a teacher, she was pretty well going.
Oh my
But they were invested in you. Like,
they were.
actually,
They were.
Wayne, he
Yeah.
would call me when you said I spent a whole period with him. I was like, he would call me on the PA.
Yeah, he called
Like,
me
Lisa
on the
Sonshine,
PA.
come to my office. And I'd be like, hi, Wayne. He's like, can you get me a Diet Coke? I
Oh,
swear.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, he did that to the guy kids as well.
Oh. Not just the girl.
No,
not just
no.
the girls.
But he also, they really, it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
It
that
wasn't
was-
just the girls. It was
wasn't
to
just the-
everyone.
it was everyone.
But he was really invested in my career and he really wanted me to go to university.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Windsor had an amazing musical theater program.
But Metro really didn't. Well, there was the
Metro-
drama. There was the drama room.
Did I sing at your graduation? He used to have me
You know
sing
what?
at everyone's graduation.
I don't remember that graduation.
Okay.
All I remember is it was far north. That's what I remember. It
don't
was
even think
north
I
of
went.
here in some neighborhood I'd never been into. Cheaped out on the low. Like, you can't get a decent place.
You guys are here paying for your school and they can't get like a nice venue for you. For
No,
your
you
graduation.
the joke is, with a private school, you actually sacrifice a lot of the great programs that many public schools have in smaller cities. Like if you go up to North Bay where Talia's from and you look at their public school, they had way more stuff.
Right.
And you were exposed to way more things in that North Bay public school than we were exposed to at Metro. We weren't exposed to very much at Metro in terms of like compared to like a school with a football field.
Yeah.
And like there's no football field, there's no there's none of that. There's no pool.
They had a parking lot.
They had a
That's where
parking lot.
Everyone would hang out.
So
on
like you're
parking lot.
not it's in some ways it's good, but in many ways it's not good.
Right.
Because your child really doesn't get exposed to the breadth of activities that they do in just a standard public school in rural Ontario.
Mhm.
Like even like for lunch, like it was such a small school that they used to pull up two trucks, like two construction worker trucks.
Really?
They'd come,
They
and I'll tell you,
I never want to go running out. Yeah.
totally changed my mind about those trucks because there's a lot of good food on those trucks. Okay, when you
I don't
see
even remember
those
that, but I
trucks.
do remember they would pull the trucks up. I just thought that was normal.
Yeah, but it was also very like there was a lot of kids. I guess there was a group of kids doing drugs at that school
Oh.
for in our years, like smoking weed,
Oh, I'm sure.
like at lunch and stuff.
it was like,
I mean, when I was in grade 9 and I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Now I walk here in the morning and the construction guys are smoking weed. All I smell from my condo to here is people
Yeah.
smoking weed. I
It's
can't
the
believe
whole
how
city.
many people smoke weed in the morning in this city. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean,
thick. Like
Yeah.
like
And I mean, I'm live in a very cannabis friendly household, and my whole
place is
partner
cannabis.
is the whole
household.
country is now. But like in our house, and like I know there's lots of different reasons. Like Sean will smoke weed before he goes on his run, or like it works well. He's in film and entertainment, and like, but hey, he's done that for like 30 years. And it's like something. But
damn.
yeah. But I
don't
mean,
know
I
how they
think
function.
it is, if you're like a person who, I mean, they
Putting up scaffolding,
Yeah.
and they're putting up like they're putting up scaffolding,
Yeah,
and hammering
still.
stuff, and they're high up there.
But I mean,
no pun intended.
But I mean, I guess sometimes if you're someone who's like a pretty regular weed smoker, you could smoke like a joint and you don't get like, if you don't smoke weed very often and then you
they're
smoke
not.
weed, you're like,
They're not falling off the thing.
But you're just like, it kind of makes you like calm and focus.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Could
That's
do
how-
that.
that's how all the scaffolding goes.
Yeah,
up.
that goes up so fast.
so fast.
Like, holy shit, that condo got built in like no time. Those guys are just like taking a hoot and then they're like, new building. I don't know.
So yeah, school was good. I don't remember if you sang at our grad, but so you went right from there to Sheridan.
I did.
Which Sheridan campus? The one?
Oakville.
Oh, in Oakville. That's nice.
Cool.
Okay.
It was awesome.
And how'd you get to that one? First, I guess this one wasn't built yet.
No.
Fun.
And we all
Okay.
lived there.
Right.
And it was
you
so cool.
You lived out. Oh, you live there.
Yeah,
to
I
live
li-
in school.
I had an apartment in Oakville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you went from Toronto,
Yeah.
got an apartment in Oakville.
Yeah.
That's great. It's a good idea.
Very cool.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
bet.
started to go to York at Schulich at York, the
Yeah.
campus, and my uncle was like, you may think about getting an apartment up there, okay?
Well, it's the same
Because
thing.
it's
It
far,
probably
like it's
took
far.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I thought it was insane. He went to York, and I think that his dream was having an apartment there, like so he was really close to his home base.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I mean, it was okay.
You're like that.
Well, the commute now compared to the commute then, I feel like are totally two different worlds
Yes.
20 years ago.
Okay, so you're living out in Oakville with a group of girls and like a door con
The
yourself.
first year I lived with like random people because it was like my first year and I didn't get into res and we pulled every card to try to get me into res. Wayne even called, my old principal called and was like, and then I moved in with some friends the second year and the third year.
And that's a program, a theater program.
Yeah.
So like what play? So you get there and like what's like the curriculum of a first year of a theater program?
It literally was like singing, dancing, acting all day long.
Oh, wow.
Like you
So
dance
you get
every day.
Wow.
It was like thinking back on it, I don't think I could do it now, but then it was a dream. Like it was like, this is school and this is like what I'm getting graded on and I'm actually getting really good grades because I'm talented.
And you're doing something that you love, that
Exactly.
you're actually good at.
No, I say it all the time. I really feel so blessed that like, when I left Sheridan, you're supposed to get an agent and you're supposed to like
Yes.
auditioning and
Right. You're going down a very low probability path.
yeah.
Really. If you're going like into theater or sort of trying to be, I don't know, a pop star or
Anything
something
like that.
anything
You're,
like that.
yeah, you're going into this like, but that's
Abyss.
your dream, right?
Right.
And at that point, you're still so young. So it was
Uh-huh.
like, and I remember going back to like visit people and watch their shows at school. And they're like, what show are you in? Like, where are you auditioning? And I was like, oh, I started this thing called Sonshine and Broccoli. And they're like, okay. And now they're all like, you are the smartest thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Because the success that we've had over the last 21 years is like
Yeah.
beyond what I could have ever
Oh, yeah.
imagined it to
Yeah.
be. And
They're
And it's
getting
hard
adult
to have
credits
a
at Sheridan. Those girls
Yeah.
are still at Sheridan getting
But
adult credits.
it's hard to have in that type of industry, especially if you're going into some type of theater or performance or singing, dancing, to have a career that long where you're booked and busy,
what I think is really cool is
Yeah. Totally.
it is and I see my friends now who some are still in the business. A lot of them had to go back to school to change careers.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Go back to Sheridan as an adult program.
It's true, but
Yeah.
a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Because now like Sheridan has become a university. So a lot of them went back to get their
degree.
Something.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, I teach, so I didn't need to get anything, or I could have. I chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really interesting to like see people now, and like some are hostesses at restaurants, and some are in the business, and some moved to film and TV, and some just moved completely away. And we actually, one of my best girlfriends from the year I graduated is in a show now, and a bunch of our friends went to go see it, and I was like blown away. And I was like, it's amazing that all these years later, she's getting cast as the lead role, and she just was unbelievable. But I couldn't put in those rehearsal times. Like, I'm a mom of 2. Like, I'm in bed by like 9.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah. No.
how do you
I
even
hear
stay
you.
up?
Right.
How does your body move that way? Like, we're in our 40s. Like,
Yeah.
but it's amazing. It's amazing that, the industry is thriving and back to like that kind of place. But for me to be able to write my own music, do what I want to do, and be booked so far in advance is like a really big gift.
Yeah.
So somebody basically manages all your bookings. It's not like you're, doing any bookings.
I do some, and our booking agent does some.
And
Cool.
Yeah.
see, Case, we need to find a
Yeah. We
booking
need a
agent.
booking agent for more guests.
We do all of them.
We do we have some people on our team, but as we grow and we do more apps, that sounds like a great idea.
We've done when we started the podcast, we were thinking, maybe we'll be grasping at straws for people, but it's been like the opposite. It's
Yeah.
been so wonderful.
And there's
And
so
we've
many
had
great
so much
people
fun with
around
it.
us.
And as you girls were talking about earlier with the pandemic, it was just like we were craving in-person conversation. And everybody is busy enough that it was like, well, if we're going to get together and have in-person conversation, we might as well make it really, count.
I love it.
So we started to realize we were meeting up with people, and we're like, this would be fun to just do this on a podcast and talk. And we felt that there wasn't any forum in the whole city that really just allowed you to come in. The video's being recorded, the audio's being recorded. You just relax, have a conversation. And we've been on a bunch of podcasts, and it's always like this little like elevator pitch style thing. And we never really enjoyed it so much as guests.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe a bit you riff for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So you've got something for like, 5 minutes. But it's been really wonderful to build a space that we welcome all creators of all kinds in, and to just have these conversations. So it's been incredibly rewarding for us. And
it's been nice to have, we don't do too much prep for the episode. We know who the person is. We have a guest come in, and we kind of have like a long form content where we just see where the conversation goes. We want to know, what they're up to or how they got to where they are and what's next. And sometimes we get into conversations totally unrelated to what the
Which is
person
fine
does,
with us.
but are just maybe common things that we all
Sure.
deal with, the common things we all share.
But I think that's
been
the
really
coolest.
fun.
Yes.
You're not like, oh shoot, we only have 5 minutes. Like, you're not trying to get everything in. We can always cut something out, but be able to just sit back, relax, laugh together, talk about some old thing and some story. And it's so fun. It's really, really fun.
I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I really think, first of all, I was so excited because I was like, it's in person and I get to like see you guys and feel and I also think a very like open conversation is also, it allows people to know somebody a little bit differently.
Yes.
Than just like,
Completely agree.
you know what I mean? Like,
Especially what you
Right.
see on someone's social media is only like a little
There's a lot-
smidgen of
There's a
their
lot of
smidgen.
friends I have. I watch their social media and I see them in person. And it's like there's so much more sparkle to them in person
oh yeah.
that doesn't come through a lot just in whatever they're doing on social.
I think what's really interesting too is that as I became a mom, I really opened up my space of Sonshine and Broccoli, especially on Instagram, to kind of like, okay, I'm a new mom and I'm navigating this
Yes.
with you.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
And so that was a really cool aspect to kind of just like be like, okay, I'm going to be as exposed as I can, because I think it's so important on social media to show up. I'm not like this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, are you this happy all the time? I'm like, no. And I think it's like people want to know us also, right?
Yes.
Like as like performers, but also like, what else is there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're happy you shared the sleep trainer.
Game changer.
Yeah,
Game changer.
Who knew?
I know. My son was, I didn't have to sleep train my first. And every kid is so different. So I reached out to her because I know her from social media. And when I had Barron, she actually wrote me and said, if you ever need any like sleep help. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, I need sleep help.
She means business, that girl too.
She's no joke.
No, like if you're the baby in the room crying, she's not coming to get you.
She's the baby whisperer, though.
Yeah. Oh, she's gone through hundreds and hundreds of babies.
She's
getting hundreds of babies.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's a journey that it's funny because as much as it's a well-traveled journey, it's almost like virgin ground at the same time, you know?
From 1 to 2.
Yes.
From each kid. It's just, and that's what I think is so important for all of us to share. It's like these milestones and these, my kid's sleeping, my kid's not sleeping, my kid's eating this, my kid's standing, my kid's sitting, my kid's crawling. It's like every kid gets there at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
So being a new mom, you're like, but the book says 7 months they got to.
Right.
Yeah.
And only a few of them.
Exactly.
But the key book that I read before having Ariel was The Happiest Baby on the Block. Did you ever read that book?
No.
Oh, you'd have loved it. It was awesome. If you plan on having a third, you should. No. Well, so you probably don't need to read the book.
But tell me about it.
So the wonderful thing about this book is it really lays out your mission in those first 3 months in an incredibly clear way. And it's a way that's very, it's sort of like you once you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And fundamentally, your mission in the first 3 months is to replicate the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I had never really thought about that. And I had never really thought about trying to understand the conditions in the womb to better understand what would be the best plan of attack for your first 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize that the womb's noisy, okay? It's noisy in there. It's like apparently as loud as a vacuum cleaner. Okay. So between the blood circulating and your breathing and your movement, it's noisy in there.
Yeah.
Now they actually know that because they must put a microphone in there. And
Yeah.
get it. Okay? These have never been used for that.
Okay, good.
So, and it's constantly in motion, basically constantly in motion. The baby is much more comfortable in motion than it is when it's still. And one of the reasons why they get lulled to sleep when they're in motion is because when you're walking around with your baby and you're pregnant, it's pretty well sleeping for that time. So, I mean, I could go through the rest of it, but so there are these, I mean, the other is, of course, swaddling. Okay. So you go through this book and you start to understand like the different conditions that you have to start to replicate. And you basically follow these rules and you get into a groove with them. And it's like these babies just like turn off like a switch. If you follow them and you do them all right. So I was in this group and the first time Ariel was crying like in the hospital, and I brought a lot of I brought our snoo I brought our snoo sacks to the hospital with me.
Wow.
Okay? Because I didn't want to use their swaddles because the snoo swaddle is like so easy. So I brought the snoo swaddle to the hospital. I was like ready with that and ready with all like the other key stuff, like the white noise and all sorts of other stuff. And the first time I put her in the swaddle, turned on the white noise, did like this side stomach position, did like the little jiggle. She like turned off, and I was like, "Oh, this book is fantastic! Like, this is the only book. Like, this is the only thing I needed." And then I mean, he's got a Happiest toddler on the block.
Oh,
That one you should get into. Happiest toddler on the block.
Who is that?
He's the doctor who invented the snoo. His name's Dr. Harvey Karp.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Him being a doctor, that could be a plus for you, could be a minus for you, but smart guy.
Okay.
Noted.
Noted.
So, yeah.
Right.
So it's a good one. And, but it's been wonderful. I mean, it's basically, Case, you know what it's like.
Yeah. But I've seen even like Ariel, even when we were like when she was born, had seen her like on the camera almost all the time since she's been born. She's just such a chill baby.
Who knew it was so much work to get them started? You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know how my grandmother had 6 kids and like a bunch of them like so close. We're doing it.
Because
It was different.
it was different.
A different
It
time.
was different. It was
What, are they not waking up, these kids?
No.
Like, when you say different, what do you mean?
Back then it was the more the merrier. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
But it probably also didn't. There wasn't the snoo and the sound machine and all the other things. Like, I mean,
Yeah, well, I don't know how different it was, but I can tell you, when Ariel's asleep in the house, every noise you make, even though I've got the white noise machine on in her room, I've got music on in her room, every noise you make, like you open up the freezer to open up like frozen fruit, like a package of frozen
so
fruit,
loud.
sounds like a dinosaur is like in
Yeah.
the room or something. It doesn't matter what you do. So I don't know how you deal with her sharing a room with another child and like a paper thin wall to like the other 2 sisters. It's
When
just,
I have
like,
people over
crazy.
and they like make a lot of noise, I'm like, if you wake them, you take them. That's my motto.
Wake them, you take them.
But also, they got to get used to.
Oh, we make sure that she pretty well revolves around our volume.
Yeah.
Really. Like we weren't tiptoeing around her.
But it
That's
is
good.
true. It's like there, especially if you have a babe who wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Because like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be up, and oh my God, he's gonna get up again at 4:30. You know, and so
Right.
you're like very, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're tiptoeing.
You're tiptoeing, and you're also like we were at the cottage, you guys too, and you know, for us, it's like
Oh, we weren't with her.
never.
Never. Not until she got into not until much later. Like we had the last time we were at the cottage was Halloween. We had her in January 6th. And then we didn't go back to the cottage for months, like till May.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we just stayed in a groove here. But when you're in that 3-hour wake groove, like when you're feeding every 3 hours, so we had a night nurse booked, okay?
Yeah.
And this is great. We can go into kid stuff. It's like totally on theme with you.
Yeah.
So we had a night nurse booked. Okay. Apparently we needed a night nurse. Okay. So we have this night nurse booked, recommended from a friend. Okay. So I figure, okay, fine. I didn't do too much digging into the whole thing. So we come home with Ariel on, we were there for the weekend because it was a C-section. So we're there like for 2 nights. We're there. We come home with her, and that first night, we don't have the night nurse, but the next night, the night nurse is coming. Okay. Now, I'm thinking, like, if this is a night nurse who you pay a lot of money to, I'm thinking like Mary Poppins is coming through the door. Okay. That's my idea of who's coming. Okay. Because in order for me to charge what she's charging, I'd be like Mary Poppins at your place. Okay. It's like $200 a night or something. It's crazy. So, knock on the door. Night nurse is here. Okay, fantastic. You know, our savior is here. This is awesome. Okay, comes in. And first thing that threw me was, and I'm not saying all night nurses are like this, but, you know, she was a night nurse. First thing that threw me was she stays in her street clothes. Okay, so I thought she'd come in and change. Okay, that was the first key thing that completely threw me, is that she stayed in her street clothes. And this, like, your baby's like fresh out of the womb. It's like, you don't want street
It's a
clothes
brand
touching
new
her. It's
baby.
brand new. So then, so she washes her hands, she comes over, she sits on the couch, and we're talking to her. And I mean, this, okay, she starts picking at her cuticle. Okay. So she starts picking at her cuticle, and I'm sort of watching her picking at her cuticle, like sitting on the couch, and I'm like, okay. So I go to the kitchen area, I grab like one of the garbages, I bring it back, I put it beside her, I say, you want to use the garbage here?
Gosh.
So she goes, oh no, I don't need the garbage, and she's sort of like rolling it around in her fingers. So so that was not good. Then she goes to me, do you have a pen and paper? Because I'm going to need to track her cycles or whatever she called it. I said, pad and paper. Like, you're not coming here with a pad and paper, like for $200 a night. You're not coming here with a cheap pad, a nothing pad, and a pen or whatever with like Ariel's name written on it, all like prepared and ready to go. No, she's asking us for like a pad and paper. And then she went to help Ariel to put her on Talia. And she did it like she'd never touched a baby in her life. Okay. It was like crazy. Just like this forceful sort of nothing. So I was holding Ariel and I said, Talia, you must have to go to the bathroom. You have to go to the bathroom. And Talia was like, yeah, I do have to go to the bathroom. I said, okay, well, you know what? I'll walk you to the bathroom. I said, I just said to the girl, okay, we're going to, wait here. I said to Talia, I don't think we can let her stay the night. Okay. Like I'm not. Okay. This is like maybe half an hour after she walked in the door. She's like booked for like a week. I said, we gotta get her out of here. I'm not comfortable with staying in the night. Like we gotta get her out of here. And Talia says, are you sure? We'll try it the one night. And then I said, no. I was like, this is like, I was getting now excited I was thinking about how I'm going to do it. How I'm going to do it. Yeah, project. Yeah. Exactly. So I get into, exactly. So you're thinking, well, now you got to walk into the other room and you got to figure out how you're going to maneuver out of this night nurse. So like before that, I was thinking, well, I've got to pay her for the night. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of caught, even though she's in my definition, not a night nurse. Yeah. Okay. You got to pay her for the night. So you knew you were out the night. Okay. So I walk in the other room. You're thinking, in life, you get into these little predicaments where you sometimes get to go into them confidently. And I went into this one really confidently. I was actually pretty excited to do it. So I went with the line. I think that I realized that probably the phrase "I'm not comfortable" was a good one. Okay, like you could basically, I'm not comfortable with. So I figured I'd roll with "I'm not comfortable." Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't want her to be offended and like cause a scene. Right. Right. Like I didn't want it to lead to, you booked me for a week and I've been counting on it. Like whatever it could have led into. That's what you're starting thinking about. So I said to her basically, you know what? I'm not comfortable. I've been watching. I was expecting you to change. I think within the context of what's been going on, it's appropriate for you to change. And I'm not comfortable moving forward with the night or our booking, and I'd like you to leave. Okay? It's like that. Ballsy. Yeah. Ballsy. Right. Yeah. But at the same time, like a wax. Like, like a good wax, Do her. Exactly. Yeah. So her jaw hit the floor, okay? Her jaw completely hit the floor. And I can't believe that she's so surprised. Because I can't believe she was so surprised. Jaw hit the floor. And she sort of made this retreat. She said, oh, okay, like a bit of a retreat like that. She left in such a huff that she forgot her jacket. Oh, God. Oh, so January. So then I was like, so she must have gotten to she got to the elevator. And I'm like, Talia, she forgot her jacket. I get to go out and say, excuse me, you forgot your jacket. No. So I said, excuse me, you forgot your jacket. Gave her the jacket. I paid her too. And then that was it. So our night nurse days were over. So I ended up being the night nurse. And that is a heck of a interesting grind because your body almost in the hospital has morphed into a bit of a different person because you're in the hospital up for 72 hours, but now you're Mr. I'm on a mission. Mm-hmm. And, but were you in the hospital for 3 days, 2 days?
We also had a C-section.
Oh, okay. So So
we know. And my son was born on the snowstorm. Do you guys remember the snowstorm?
Yes.
That you couldn't.
Yes. What date?
January 17th.
Oh, my brother's the 18th.
And my sister's the 18th. We've never talked about this?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. Here we
go. Meet each other. Welcome.
Yeah,
Introduce yourselves.
Wow, maybe I should do one of these with you. I'll learn about you. I don't know who the hell's sitting there.
Who is this co-host? I've been sitting with her for so long.
Sister.
Yeah.
Sister.
So I had a C-section booked. I don't know if you remember that day, but it was one for the books.
Yeah, it was an insane
It was
storm.
insane. My husband went outside for 3 hours to try to shovel the car out. And then we had everything planned. They canceled my son's school. My sister was coming to watch him couldn't get to us. My sister-in-law couldn't get to us. I had to call the daycare owner and I was crying. I was like, no one can take Z. She's like, I'll take him. Bring him here. I brought him to her
that's so
house.
nice.
It was she is an earth angel. I will never forget that in a bazillion years. But back to night nurse, I have the best night nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So my situation
Should have connected
I
on the night nurse.
You should have. I
Wasn't
tell you
me.
guys everything. I know. No, she is my God's gift to us. And we're
that's
very,
fantastic.
very close to her. And
I wish I had a good night nurse.
yeah. But they're hit or miss. But we just had a real hit and you had a miss.
Yeah, we completely missed.
And it's hard because, so for us, for our first, we had her for an extended period because we were new parents. And, we.
What's an extended period?
2 months.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was.
But the thing is, though, I couldn't figure out, for me, I couldn't figure out what she was doing
That you
that
couldn't
I
do.
no, that I didn't want to do because I wanted to do it all
Right.
personally. And it's not like there was any other children around, but I wanted to do it all in the sense that, like, I didn't like the idea of her feeding her in the night. Like, I didn't like the idea of her hands even touching her.
And there's two different, but there's so many different parents. And I just want to say this like out loud. It is a very big privilege to have a night nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And most people do it on their own. For us, we were new parents. We didn't have so much support. In the parent field.
What were your parents? Were your parents involved?
My dad's wasn't well. My dad's no longer living, but he wasn't well.
And then what about your husband's parents?
And yeah, they were helpful to the extent that they could be helpful, right?
My mom, it's worth mentioning. Yeah.
Yes.
My mom was there at my place pretty well 6 or 7 a.m. for those first chunk of weeks every day.
Which was a huge help.
So like, for example, when after basically pulling an all-nighter or a patchy nighter each night, I was relieved at 6 or 7 a.m. to get a pocket of sleep before stand-up.
Yeah.
Right.
Which at like 10, basically before 10. So like I would at least get a guaranteed, when you don't get any sleep, 3 hours seems like a lot of sleep, but I would at least get a guaranteed like 3-hour pocket in there, which was also just enough.
It takes a village. Like
it
really takes a village. When people say that, you're like, haha, no, it really
it
takes a village.
To really do it classy, you need both sets of in-laws that all get along. You almost have to be living in the same home and maybe also have some help. And then you can actually do it like in the the least stressful way possible. Because other than that, you're like a zombie.
You just also don't know what kind of baby you're going to have.
Yes.
So it's like some people just fly through. And my kid, my first was sleeping through the night at 3.5 months. We never had to, we had support and they teach you a lot, right? As a new mom. And listen, tying into like what I do, I've worked with kids my entire career.
Yeah.
But I don't take them when they're babies. So it was really interesting to like learn a lot. And she became family to us. And she still is family to us. And she helped us with our second also. And
Amazing.
There's just like a really beautiful, but it takes a village. It is.
Did she change into a nursing outfit?
She doesn't. But that didn't bother me.
Even during the pandemic, and she subwayed.
No, the pandemic. She didn't subway to our place.
Oh, she drove in her own car.
She drove in her car, and
that's
she
different.
wore a mask.
Yeah,
and it didn't bother me. But like, not to say it would. You know what I mean? Like everyone.
Look, if she's listening, she's great. She could think about a nurse outfit.
I'm surprised you didn't have one ready for like.
Exactly.
You know what? I should have. Pad. You know what? I should have just been like, here's the pad, here's the pen, here's the nurse. I should have done the job, which I ended up doing.
But you did. Yeah.
So you should tell everyone it's you're taking bookings for evenings.
Exactly. I'll come with a change.
Night nurse
clothes.
service.
I'll come with a pad, pen. Pad will have your child's name on it.
Yeah.
No problem.
All set. Is there? I guess you mentioned, you don't. Like you're not taking people's kids when they're babies, but do you perform for kids of like all different ages? Is there a specific, like, it's mostly only kids like under 10 or stops at, what?
So we would
What
say
kind
2
of
to
kids?
10.
Especially for anyone out there listening, they're like, I need to get, if they don't know you already,
Yes.
they need to know.
For
There's lots
sure.
of people in our circles and friends that will be listening have kids and want to know.
So I would say like our targeted demographic for great question.
What
Okay,
question?
Great question. If I could fist pump you,
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I think for kids coming to see our shows, I would say 2 to 10 is the demographic. But if you're listening, and a lot of people are like, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on all channels, so people will put our music on, and kids of any age. Like my son also loves it. It's very interesting. I wrote a song for Zaid, is my first boy. I have 2 boys. And so I wrote a song for him when he was born. And I only really wrote the chorus. It's an I love you song. And then when I was pregnant with Barron, I said to Brock, we got to finish this song. Like, it's so good. So when I was pregnant, I finished the song. And it's really like a really beautiful song about how your babies, like as a mom, like you are the only one who knows what my heartbeat sounds from the inside out. Like it's a very, so when my producer sent me the song, I was walking with Barron, my youngest, and I was bawling hysterically. Like it just brought me
For
to
sure.
this, because we had the violin and the fit. It's such a beautiful song.
I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I think you're going to enjoy it. And so that's the only song that calms my youngest down.
Wow.
There's something about the song. I don't know if it was like he was in the womb, and I don't know, but if he is having a freak out, it's the first thing I put on, and it's like magic. It just like stops him. So that's what music does. Like you see it, right? Like music is so empowering for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We have a song that music is the universal language, because it is, right?
Absolutely.
Like
Totally.
all of us can partake. And I think the cool thing about kids' music is that it brings parent and child together.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you guys can do together. And it's something, dance parties and this, it's like it brings it all in, right? So that's why you don't want to listen to like annoying music.
No, I mean, it's so important. Like I was in like kinder music, and we did all kinds of like music, and we did music things at my Montessori, and like my mom she was at home with us until I was 16. So I feel like so lucky that we got to grow up like that with lots of music and playing and, stuff. And I was excited to chat with you, because I think it's so cool. I had talked to people like I'd be a good host on a kids type of show. Like when I was younger, people would say that, because like, I always was an energetic person, and I love that. I think it's such an important thing for kids to be exposed to that music type of play and singing and dancing. And it comes in handy like later in life. I think it just helps make kids great people.
I think what's really cool is each album has had kind of a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And so our Juno album was It's Cool to Be Kind. And that time frame where bullying was really, it was really, we were all, anti-bullying, as we continue to be. But the themes were so important.
Yeah.
And so as each album, this one, the themes are just like Born to Be Brave. Like, we've got this, guys. And I think it's a moving one. Like I am so certain that it is going to get a Juno nom. Let's just all the good vibes out there. But really, because it's powerful, and it's like we wrote a song with our friend Twinkle. She's in LA, and it's like, behave, be kind, be you. This is what you gotta do. And it's all like where we are now, right? Like what kind of kids do we want to raise? Like I see it with the kids, like it's so important. Like I do affirmations to my son every day. Like we're living in a different time where we want them to grow up as like amazing, worthy, like nice, kind humans.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a wonderful song.
Yeah. And your voice is so beautiful. I was like, oh, just sing it, girl.
Sing it, girl. But yeah, so I think, tying it all in, it's like music really, like, you have these memories. You're creating these memories for our kids, right? And it's just, it's just a bonding experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever sing or perform for non-children?
I do.
Oh,
I do. And I'm actually
adults, non-children.
You want to know the funniest thing? We were getting calls from senior homes. Would we come in?
The other end of
And then we would say it's like the circle of life. It
Yeah.
was so interesting. So we haven't pandemic. We didn't obviously go in,
Of course.
but I get calls all the time for people in the theater world will like come sing in this cabaret. I'm actually doing a charity show for Save a Child's Heart.
Right.
Love
Save a
it.
Child's
Yeah.
Heart.
Yes.
They're doing a show called Levity, so I'm going to join them in that.
Cool.
And I actually can't wait. Actually, Brock's doing it too, which he never
That's
does.
cool.
And just because we missed
At the same time, you're both doing it.
we're
at the same
both
time.
doing it. I don't think we were casting anything together, which is funny, but
But it's their music.
it's a Broadway
What?
review.
Oh, it's a
Oh, lovely.
So it's like fun songs but it's fun because I really miss that. I really miss that area of my life.
yeah, gosh. What's touring like?
So we just wrapped up our last summer show yesterday.
Oh, cool.
At camp, which was wicked.
Bus? Do you do the tours by bus? Like, what's the travel like?
We get in the car.
Cars?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's like a vacation. I'm like, I'm in the car by myself. Like people will often say to me, like, how do you do it? Like you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. Like, how do you do it? And I was actually going to write a post about it today about how like we can't do it all, right?
Yeah.
But as a mom of 2 kids, and this is my passion. This is like fulfills me so deeply that thank God that we can find coverage to like watch one of the babes. And, you know, yesterday I was like, I feel like I'm on vacation. I got in the car at 11 and it was actually near my cottage. So I like,
You have to find coverage for a lot of time for your kids.
we do. We have some help at home.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then my husband also works from home.
In the sense that, like, for me, like, it takes a while to just get comfortable with people and your kids. Yeah, if I would have like cameras, this would be my house. It'd be right in
But you're
here.
a protective dad. Like I'm going to peg you. You're a protective dad. You want them to wash their hands and have their labels on their scrubs.
nurse outfit,
Yeah, their
yeah.
nurse outfits. But which is totally fair. This is
I don't know if I said
No,
anything
you meant the
like-
label on the pad, but
Yeah.
I think if they showed up with a
That would actually,
Yeah.
that would be good too. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I know.
Put her
Add
name
it-
on
add
that. Yeah, you're right, like at Home Depot. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I've got a business for you. I will help you with a business plan.
No problem.
Nelson's starting a
Nurse.
night
Night
nurse
Yes,
situation.
she can even have
Report
your
back.
CD is right in her
Yeah.
in her gown.
It's a co-partnership
Exactly.
thing here.
We got something going on. Okay. Coverage. I am grateful to have, first of all, and a lot of my shows are on the weekend. So my
Right.
husband's home.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we try to get the 2 napping at the same time.
It's actually convenient your husband isn't broccoli. Because if he
Because
were,
it would. Well, that was
it
one
would
of the
be
first things
even
I asked.
harder to
Like, is
juggle.
Yeah.
People would literally call me, be like, "Are you
With
alone?"
like a figure skater.
Yeah,
With like a figure skater partner.
Yeah.
true. They would be like, "Is Brock your boyfriend?" I'm like, "No." And wouldn't you guys know if we were together? And at my wedding, Brock's speech, he was my man of honor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And at his speech was like, "We are disappointing a lot of children tonight," because
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
husband obviously is not broccoli. But yeah, it would be much more difficult. Actually, I know a duo who just had a baby and they bring the baby everywhere with them. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're gigging at the X right now. And I'm like,
Wow.
how?
they bring the baby.
That's hard.
But yeah, harder to even leave her though.
Yeah.
I think, we're invited to this wedding in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't wrap my head around how to go. Like with a baby, how do people go anywhere? I don't know how you go anywhere. Even if you actually go down there, what do? You like take her to the wedding, or like who stays in
Right.
the hotel room, or do you bring your mother? Like what? I don't know how people even do anything.
Don't ask me. I definitely don't know.
People
I don't know how they do
People
it.
don't leave their house for a year for the first year.
Right.
Like some people are like, it just depends who you are. And like, you guys, this is your first, like, this is your sweet little angel, right? So for you, the thought of like, you just want to soak it all in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
be
definitely part
protective
of it, too.
papa.
especially when she changes so much day to day. Like it's shocking how much
It's wild.
they start to do. And then you realize, oh my gosh, every day it's like she wakes
new
up like
things.
a slightly different person, which is just,
I love watching her. I love she's just this little magical mermaid.
yeah, she really is.
Yeah, I have a friend that just had a baby, and they
How long ago?
6 weeks.
Okay.
Take that baby everywhere. She's like, I don't want a stroller. She just wears the baby
Yes.
everywhere.
Ariel loves that.
She just wears the
carrier.
baby, and they going back and forth to home at their place in the city, the place in the cottage. They've got a place down south where they're going to go for the winter, and they're just in the Caribbean. And they just pack
Now's
up the
the
baby
time.
and just take her around everywhere.
Yeah.
Now
We went out for dinner, and I was like, oh, like, who's watching, the baby? She's like, oh man, she's coming. She wants to party. She just wears the baby and holds her. And yeah, I just said, but you guys still took Ariel out to a lot of places. But I
Yeah,
think going
we took
to a
her
wedding
out.
in Florida is different.
Yeah, Talia and I were once out for dinner. No, I was out for dinner with Henry and our head of technology kit. And we watched a couple come in with twin babies who were like maybe 3 weeks old
Oh, wow.
in tandem strollers, in a tandem stroller with the two seats. They're like 3 weeks old kids. And they were basically the same age as Ariel at that time. Okay?
Yeah.
And I looked at this couple coming in, and I thought of myself doing it, being like, this would be like this is like a perfect way to ruin a dinner. Okay. Because you're basically thinking about, oh, is she going to be upset or what's going on? Or, you know what I mean? Am I going to have to leave this dinner or what? They came in, it's like these babies were tranked. I have never seen anything like it. Okay. They came in, this couple, they sat down so confidently. The babies, they brought them like right up to the table, and they like were completely asleep the whole time. They ate their meal. They like had a nice meal and headed out of there. It was like they're, it's crazy.
When we had our first, we did that. This is pre-pandemic. We did that every night. Not every night, but like we would often, like he'd come home from work. I'm like, let's go for dinner. And we would take the babe all the time.
We've done a lot of brunches and we've taken her places, but never been in an evening groove with her like that.
Yeah.
But when they're young, you can do that. Now she goes to bed at like 6 p.m.
Right. And now you're just like, I just want her to sleep.
Yes. But now she does sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She sleeps now. Thanks to Karen.
That's
so what's next? You've got shows.
We've got a lot going
Your
on.
album's coming out.
So our album's coming out in the next few weeks, and then we're going to do a media tour, which is awesome.
We'll be keeping an eye out for that.
Please do. I'll let you guys know, and I'll send you a bunch of some stuff for the babe with the new album, and we got some new swag.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be really fun. We have our CD release concert October 29th.
Great.
So that's going to be amazing, and we have a bunch of shows leading up. So we get booked quite a bit in advance. So these shows were booked like sometime in the spring. And then we are releasing music videos. So we have about 5 music videos to release.
Oh, that's great.
And then we have a TV show in the works.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
amazing.
So we've got a lot going on.
Exciting.
Thank you guys. It's cool. It's really fun.
So we can show your music videos to Ariel.
Oh, please do.
We will.
These ones are actually really like our old ones, I feel like are like dated, but these new ones are like super cool. And then we'll have to shoot with the new album and new ones. And so we're just rolling with it. We're just rolling with all of it. Yeah.
I'm so excited to see all of it. I mean,
Thank you.
I'm so excited to see her reaction to it all. And now that she's met you and she'll see you again in person, she'll like be kind of, I don't know, she's going to notice.
And
she
I
can
told
tell.
Tal
She
she's
can
going
see
to come
people
to
on
our
screen and
classes.
be like, wow,
and
she'll connect the dots.
Yeah. It's fun.
She's gonna
Cool.
like-
And do you have classes? We'll link everyone in the episode, but people can sign up their kids for classes in the city.
So we do
Or
mom and
online?
talk classes when
Okay.
we're available. I really started back doing them when I had my kids.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why am I going to pay to take them to music? Like, here we go. It just depends on the session. All of our stuff is like, you can find us on Instagram at Sonshine and Broccoli, sonshineandbroccoli.com, Facebook, Sonshine and Broccoli. Sonshine is with an O. So it's SONSHINE.
Love it.
And all of our stuff, all of our shows and release dates and everything is always posted
Amazing.
It's so exciting.
Well,
I love it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
It's
guys.
been really
This was
wonderful.
So fun.
And wonderful to meet you.
Ditto.
In person.
In person, live in person. It's been a blast, guys. Honestly, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And we're excited to listen to all your work and watch your videos.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode with Lisa Sonshine. Visit sonshineandbroccoli.com to learn more and listen to their music with your kids.
Find more episodes of our podcast at castofcreators.com, subscribe on YouTube, or listen on your favorite podcast platform.